Hi, welcome to this new episode of Sports Talk Central. I'm your host, Deep Mahmood, with my normal co-host Hunter, and today we're going to be previewing the ACC Championship game between Duke and Virginia Tech, NFL free agency with some of the crazy moves that have happened already, and some MLB free agency news and CBA and brief CBA talk. Now, let's also keep in mind this is MLB free agency is going to be wild. Uh, so if we do get contract, if there are deals that are being made or trades being completed, we will mention that if they do happen, if we're talking if they happen.
I'm sure something will, knowing us, knowing our luck.
Yeah. So let's go with the first one, which is the ACC Championship game preview. So pretty much it's Virginia Tech versus Duke. So what were your thoughts?
Screw a fairy tale ending. You just go qualify for the tournament, and now you get the auto bid. I last night I think the eye test, Virginia Tech should be in the tournament no matter what. There's honestly no shame in losing to Duke. That said, I want to go out and send Coach K out on a sad note before he goes into the NCAA tournament. That was just a very dominant performance last night. Defensively, they didn't give up anything to you in the first two games. And they made sure to always double Baycott. You saw him getting frustrated at the end. Manic missed a lot of his threes. But that was just a big win. And now they've had back-to-back quadrant one wins. They beat Notre Dame earlier in the season. They also took down Miami towards the late stages of the season. They also went to the ACC semifinals. I know right now, according to Joe Lunardi, they are the first team out, which means they would be the number one overall seed in the NIT, basically. He's not the end-all be-all. I know he's very good. He gets most of his picks right. That said, look, they're 25 in KenPom. They're top 30 in the net. They're number 20 in ESPN's BPI. And eye test lately, they've won 12 of the last 14 games, and they've looked damn good down the stretch after January. I'm sorry. This is an NCAA tournament team. If you're going to put in a team like Michigan, who has 15 losses, and I understand they have good numbers and they have a lot of good wins, no, it's going to leave a little sour taste in my mouth. Xavier, especially, they have not been good the last month, yet for some reason they're in the tournament right now as well. They're going to need, I think, SMU to lose tonight. I think SMU is one of the last teams that are in. They're not getting any help because Buzz Williams' Aggies continue to win. They just got to the ACC Championship game final. Hopefully, Kentucky, one of Tennessee or Kentucky can take them out in the championship on Sunday. But it's just a really nice back-to-back wins. I mean, they were a millisecond away from being out in the second round. It's just that's how it goes sometimes. But they were able to string together two really strong performances. Duke tonight is going to be even more of a challenge. Banchero's really good. They have that big guy, William. I know what you're going to say. I know it's the storybook ending. What were you going to say? What?
Do you think he was going to regret? Do you think he might regret him saying that they'd rather play? Because I feel like athletes are asked that question all the time, and they're said whatever happens.
They want.
I understand it was the UNC Duke thing, but it did seem a little like be careful with what you say. I understand the historical significance of it, but it's also more of if UNC doesn't win this game, there's something called bulletin board material. Like that's the other thing. So I understand the whole purpose, but yeah, like go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's just, they're going to play a hot Virginia Tech team. Bonchero is really good. Williams inside is great. Wendell Moore is obviously really freaking good. Tech played Duke pretty close for a large chunk of that first matchup before Duke started to pull away in the second half. So this is a winnable game. The fact of the matter is they have to win this game. Knowing the committee and knowing how inconsistent they are, I don't really want to leave it up to chance tomorrow. Do I think they deserve to be in? Yes. Do they pass the eye test? Yes. Do they have the metrics? Yes. They have the quadrant one wins these last couple of times. But you never know. Just go out and steal a bid tonight. That's all I can say. You have a chance. This is your chance right here to send yourself into the dance and not have to rely on a bunch of old people on the committee to say, oh, okay, how do they stack up to the other teams? Because the bubble is really big this year. Last year, the bubble sucked. This year, there's a lot of good teams that are sitting right there with Virginia Tech. And again, If SMU loses tonight to Memphis, that's huge. We're going to need Memphis to win that game because SMU, again, is one of the last 4 teams in, according to a lot of models. If they lose, that can potentially bump them down, even I think with a Virginia Tech loss. But I'm not thinking about that. Go out, stun everyone, win the ACC championship. You won't have to worry about a sweat fest on Sunday. I think it's going to be a really good game, though, man. It's the first time they've ever played in an ACC championship game in basketball. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so for me, I think the big thing here is to add on. I mean, look, one of the biggest issues with Virginia Tech for me personally is they've been cold at the wrong moments. Like I think the first UNC game of the season, like there was like that 5 minute period where they were making shots, and I think them playing 4 games in 4 straight days actually helps Virginia Tech because when you think about it, when they played against Clemson, they were missing shots, but they were able to get the shot to make it. And I think Darius Maddox he's going to be really fun to watch next few years. Sam Padilla is going to be really fun to watch. I mean, adding Rodney Rice and a few other pieces. I mean, we're starting to see remember I think 2018 you had J Rob, you had Beatty, you had a few other people, and that was like that core you have for the next few years. I think we're starting to see the next group of Virginia Tech players here. I mean, Keve Aluma, we'll see if he returns next year. We'll see if Justin Mutz returns next year. But going back to the 4 games in 4 days, it seems like the biggest thing holding Virginia Tech back is they're very streaky when it comes to shooting. And against a team like Duke, that is detrimental, especially if it happens at the wrong time. And I think the fact that and last night against UNC, they shot the ball better than they did against Notre Dame. And in Notre Dame, they shot the ball better than when they played Clemson. So I think them playing these consecutive games, I think it will warm them. It could warm them up. So I think this might be a situation where people are going to say, "Well, you're playing 4 games in 4 days. Like, are you tired?" Like, I think they're getting better and better and better, and I think it will help them there. Now, we'll see what I think Duke's gonna be tough. Look, I think I texted you this. I just have a bad feeling that the refs might favor Duke in this one. I just have this really bad feeling. I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist, but it's like
never know, TV Teddy, but I get where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah.
I know last night, there were times that TV Teddy, some calls were pretty questionable, to say the least. I know I've never been someone that believes in those theories. I guess the conspiracy. Well, I know you're not. I don't think you're a conspiracy theorist or anything. No. The only player that I think has actually gotten the benefit of the doubt that I thought that as a kid was Tom Brady. Right. I think all the other ones have been, not really, but I do see where you're coming from. It could be part of the script, send Coach K out with one more ACC title, but all Tech can control is what's in front of them. Yeah. Go out and just have fun. This is a potential program changing game. You win this game, a lot of people think of this program.
There's a banner that's going to be at Castle. If they win this game, there's going to be a banner at Castle, and that's going to always be a moment that these guys
down their top 3 teams in the conference to do it. Recruits notice that. Just saying, people, national media will notice that too. So let's see what they can do. Do I expect a win? I'd probably lean towards no, but who cares at this point? I didn't expect them to win last night against UNC. So, we'll see. I'm really excited for it.
Yep, and all I'm going to say is Mike Young does have he has won titles at Wofford before. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else, but you can find it on Twitter what I'm referring to. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just saying Mike Young has experience. I think he'll get this team prepared. I'll put it that way. Let's move on to the next one, NFL free agency. Obviously, today we had the trade Amari Cooper to the Browns. I'm shocked that the return was that little. You had Deshaun Watson. Apparently, the Panthers might go after him. Russell Wilson trade, Aaron Rodgers staying Green Bay. Which one of these moves and stories stood out for you?
It's just the NFL is just so wacky. I'm not really nervous about the Browns just because they still have Baker Mayfield there. But it also looks like they're allowing Jarvis Landry to seek out a trade. So I think he's going to be out the door and they're probably just going to go draft a wide receiver because this class is pretty stacked. The Cowboys got fleeced in that deal. I'm pretty sure, getting only 2 very late picks back for a number 1 wide receiver, number 1, number 2. Definitely not good, to say the least. I don't really understand that. Russell Wilson to the Broncos. I was a little surprised by that, I guess, but I think this catapults Denver up to a playoff team now. They have the weapons. They have the defense. Now they have a franchise quarterback that can get those weapons the ball. They have a good running game. I would not be surprised if they win quite a few games next year. Seeing him and Mahomes go at it twice a year. And Herbert, AFC West is gauntlet. You have Khalil Mack going to the Chargers now. Aaron Rodgers saying I was not surprised. The Deshaun Watson stuff, I'm not really sure who's going to get him. You said Carolina. I think they probably make the most sense. They don't really have a quarterback right now. I could see New Orleans. They also don't have a quarterback. Seattle could make a play for him now. But it's going to be interesting to watch, who trades for him and what does that package look like. The rumor is Houston wants 3 first-round picks and then some for Watson. I don't know if you're going to get 3 first-round picks for someone who still has civil cases to go through. I know he is not criminally charged, but who else? Also, is he going to be suspended a little bit next year? Remember, Ben Roethlisberger had no criminal charges. He was suspended for 4 to 6 games. Was
John had way worse. This is way more severe than what Ben went through.
Yeah, and he was suspended 4 games. Teams have to think about that. Is Watson going to get suspended for parts of next season? He probably will. I think as of right,
he wasn't suspended last year. They just made him inactive every single time.
Yeah,
they never suspended him. So technically, he might be given a 5 or 6 week suspension. My first thing with the Deshaun Watson stuff is his contract $40 million. Technically, it's $40 million.
I believe it's 38.
38. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing: Deshaun Watson may have been found not guilty by the legal courts, but there's still something called the court of public opinion, and I think that is going to be a big thing for whoever gets him. I don't see the Steelers getting him, not just because I don't think you guys have the draft picks to do it, but also you already went through what you went with Ben, and like I said, Deshaun was way worse. So I don't know if the Steelers are going to be, especially with how they got rid of Le'Veon, how they got rid of AB. I don't think they're going to walk in a situation where they just got out of they just stopped work, got out of Ben, and they're going to enter a similar type of PR type of situation with Deshaun Watson. So Panthers, I can see Panthers. Saints, if they can make it work with the cap, sure. I don't think that, I understand you could do void years and stuff, but what people don't understand is void years, basically what it does is, are you familiar with what void years are?
You can just void the another year or something, right?
Kind of. So what you do is up to 5 years. So the idea is there's a combination of real years and dummy years, up to 5. Okay, and you can split that signing bonus evenly. So if it's 5 years, so let's say a player gets a $10 million signing bonus on a 1-year deal, but you add 4 void years. The idea would be that in that first year you get a $2 million signing bonus. So they pay you $2 million in that first year instead of 10. Now the trade-off is in that second year, all of that balance, that $8 million remaining, you have to pay the player whether they're on the team or not. So basically, it's kind of like dead cap, but unlike restructuring where the cap gets balanced, divided over the remaining years, that first year after the real year, so essentially the first dummy year, whatever is remaining of the signing bonus, you got to pay to the player. So teams can do stuff like that, but like I said, when it sounds like you're adding unnecessary dead cap to that. So you're basically paying a guy not to play for you just for the sake of when he was playing for you. Oh, you can afford to pay him 20 or 25% of his of the signing bonus that he was owed. So it's a risky strategy that I don't like. I'm not the biggest fan of using because I'm not a fan of adding more debt to how much in general. Um, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, Seahawks are a sneaky good pick, depending on how much money they have to pay Russell Wilson because
Yeah,
Pete Carroll
Seattle.
ain't Pete
Yeah,
Carroll
it
ain't
is. You go
rebuilding.
from one All-Pro quarterback to another that makes more money.
Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. I mean, look, I mean,
Just like,
I don't know how good the front office is because apparently Bobby Wagner wasn't even told that he was cut. I think no, it's like no, he found out on social media, and that's Bobby Wagner. It's not a nobody. So
yeah,
I can see that. They speaking of Russell Wilson, I think the Broncos are a really good team. I mean, they paid a lot for him. That was a massive trade.
rightfully
But
so. I will say that.
yeah, but it's worth it. I I mean, so it'll be interesting what they do there. Uh, Carson Wentz going to the Commanders. Feels like the Commanders fans are of the Commanders are like, you know that person that asks like a couple of girls to the dance and they get rejected, so then they ask another person. That's what it feels like. And the other thing is the Commanders, or at that point they had a different name at this point before, they went out and got Donovan McNabb at one time when he was a long time with the Eagles, and that didn't turn out well. So he has 1 year. I think Carson Wentz has 1 year before he actually to prove that he can still be a starting quarterback. Um, who do you think is made worse out of the situation, him or Frank Reich? Because that was the reason why Frank Reich was the reason he got traded to the Colts. But now the Frank Reich said, yeah, send him off to the to the Commanders. Like, who do you think comes off worse in that deal, Carson or Wentz or Reich?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I applaud Reich and Ballard for knowing when to move on. I think they basically thought they made a mistake by giving up all that to get Wentz, and then when they realized they didn't make the playoffs, they wanted to improve. And you know, Ballard never committed to him going into this year. He always said they're looking for ways to improve. That was one of them. I kind of would blame it more on Wentz just because I read that article from The Athletic, I think from the Colts reporter, and apparently he was just like, not, being not liking being coached and stuff, and what wasn't, I guess, taking everything serious and stuff from what I read. So I would probably blame it more on Wentz. I mean, Washington, I understand the move because they don't think Taylor Heineke can be a franchise quarterback. I don't really think anyone can. But is Carson Wentz also a franchise quarterback?
No.
Probably not. Um, and I think I'm surprised what they gave up. They're also taking on his entire contract. I don't know. Just seems like a really desperate move for a team that needs results, or there's going to be some more changes.
Yeah, and I think with Deshaun Watson, I think I read somewhere that Deshaun Watson that's going to re-energize the market for Garoppolo and I think someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think the Steelers. We'll see what the Steelers like. Based on what you know now, like, where do you think they go for quarterback?
I don't really know. There was like dumb rumors this week about like Jacoby Brissett, and that's just like dumb. I don't really want to.
Where's the previous connection with the Steelers? I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
he has Matt Canada connections and stuff, but I don't
Uh,
really go on and get a different veteran than that. He's not. I mean, I don't even know if he would be on Mason Rudolph. I mean, like, you don't need to give him an actual shot to win the job. I mean, there's Trubisky out there. But do you really want to pay him $10 million? Probably not. I've seen the Jimmy Garoppolo rumors. He's probably not going to go for a lot anyway. It's just his contract is really freaking bad. Teddy Bridgewater, I think, does make sense. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot. He's not going to air it out, but the Steelers, I think, also want to rely on their defense and their running game next season. And to have someone there who at least can give them average quarterback play will give them a shot to get into the playoffs. So I understand that stuff. Jameis Winston, not really sure. He's still coming off ACL injury, but they're also probably going to draft someone at the end of the day. If one of the big two can fall to number 20, they're going to take one. If not, they're going to go best player available. That's my opinion, though. But I still think the options right now.
Ritter from Cincinnati. I can see them targeting Ritter in
I
second.
don't like him at all. I don't think he has. I don't think he has a lot of traits that the Steelers would like, and I also don't think I think people overrate him from his time in Cincinnati. That's just me, though.
I mean, because I'm trying to think. Malik Willis is going to be picked earlier. Kenny
Probably
Pickett.
Kenny Pickett, yeah. I mean, Sam Howell, they like him, but is he a starter? Probably not. Nice arm and everything, but I don't. Me personally, I don't see it.
Yeah, and then also we have. I think there's like the Lyle Collins rumor that that the Cowboys are trying to trade him. I mean, that's a pretty good contract on for him, but
Mhm.
we'll have more. Free agency is going to start, and then obviously there's that first 2 days where it's going to be a lot of big moves. So we'll have a heavy show next week on the free
Oh
agency.
yeah,
So let's go
absolutely.
to MLB free. Yeah. So let's just go to MLB free agency. I just want to say, I just saw a tweet here from I think John Heyman. It's actually not a tweet like someone signed, but this isn't like this is good for, especially for Orioles fans. So John Heyman basically said that this is related to Correa. Basically, John Heyman said, at this moment, I don't see where Correa is going to get his 300 million. But here's the thing: are the Orioles that disrespected enough? Because apparently they have an offer 10 years and over 300 million. And
Uh,
if and if
guess no one likes the Orioles.
no. First of all, they're irrelevant enough that like I think I tweeted something out somewhere where I said that the Orioles are irrelevant enough that if they were like their interest in Correa or their interest in a big time free agent, you wouldn't know until the last minute. So
Oh
unless they so unless like Raul Ramos, who was a former no who's a he covers the Mets and the Yankees, but he covers in the Latin America region. So he doesn't have that big of a reach as a Jeff Passan or Nightingale or John Heyman. But if he's the one that reported, I tend to believe it because he is a credited writer. But he would be the one to report whether teams like the Orioles or the Pirates or the Diamondbacks would be interested in someone. And well, I mean, look, and so that's gonna be interesting to see. But but with the Cubs going after Andrelton Simmons, the Yankees seemingly they might trade for Paul DeYoung from the
yeah.
Cardinals. They know well apparently they were the rumor there. I saw this rumor that they were in talks with the Cardinals for trading. Maybe now, and I read somewhere that was like Paul DeYoung might be a centerpiece and he can play short if they need to. Because you got to remember they have Volpe and they have Osvaldo Peraza. So I don't know if they're willing to give out that type of contract. I mean, it's looking pretty good if you're an
I don't
Orioles
think the
fan.
Yankees are gonna get Freddie Freeman either. He might go to Los Angeles, which is just,
Yeah,
of course, ridiculous at this point.
yeah. I was gonna. That's the point I was gonna bring up. The big one is right now Freddie Freeman. Looks like so the rumor was that the Braves were willing to go 5 years.
Okay.
Uh, Dodgers were might be willing to go 6 or maybe 7, but I think he could go to the Dodgers because he's from California, and then you also have to imagine they lost Corey Seager. Because remember, they lost Corey Seager. You have Trey Turner, so you get Freddie Freeman, especially with the universal DH. You could still have Max Muncy and Freddie Freeman and Trey Turner and Mookie Betts and those guys in that lineup. So you might be you could be. Do you think that Freddie Freeman could replace Corey Seager?
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense. What position was Seager again? Just making sure I remember.
Short or second? No, he was short, and I think he
I don't think
moved to
Freeman can
second.
play
Right.
shortstop because he plays first base, if I'm not
No.
mistaken.
Freeman was the first baseman.
Yeah,
Seager was the shortstop.
yeah.
You're talking about Corey's brother, Kyle.
Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah, you're right. You're
Kyle
right.
played third. Corey played short, but then he played second when Trey Turner
Oh,
was.
yeah. So I could see him moving there, I guess, but I still like. I'm not. I mean, second base, first base. I mean, I'm sure he would be fine replacing him, but the rich get richer if they get him. I mean, that's just the end of the day. It looks like those are his only two options right now because I thought the Yankees were going after him, but I
They
think
might
they
be
also.
going after Olsen. They might be trying to get Olsen.
Oh yeah, and then there's still quite a few free agents out there. I mean, we haven't really had the hot stove heat up a lot yet. And, I thought it was not going to happen for a while. But once the international draft really they came to an agreement on, I was like, okay, now it's actually looking hopeful because that was their biggest thing. And then throughout the day, talks just progressed. And, the players, I think, were hopefully able to get what they want out of it. And I'm glad now that the lockdown has been lifted and, we'll have games starting in just a few weeks. Now, I know the Nationals got Steve Cishek today, had about a 3.42 ERA last year with the Angels. This is the kind of move that's fine for a retooling, rebuilding team. If he pitches well and you're out of it by the July deadline, you can just flip him for a prospect. You get some stuff to restock your system. There's still other needs. They probably have to go out and get a left-handed reliever. I would like another bat or two, but it's nice that Mike Rizzo is actually still looking to improve the team. But still a lot of really good free agents out there that need to sign.
Yeah, and I think that right now I think it was mainly the pitchers that signed because Kershaw signed the 1-year deal with the Dodgers, Kikuchi signed with the Blue Jays, and my goodness, that rotation is really good.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Hinter Ryu, Jose Barrios, Kevin Gausman, Alex Manoah, and Kikuchi. And by the way, they still have Nate Pearson, but he might be more of a bullpen piece with his fastball. That is a filthy, filthy, filthy line rotation. And the Giants' rotation isn't. The Giants' rotation is better as well. So, with Rodon there, so you have Rodon, you have Logan Webb, the Descalfini. So the teams like pitching is definitely good. Trevor Story. The rumor is with Trevor Story is that the Red Sox might be interested in Trevor Story. I mean, I'm kind of surprised. Like, are you surprised that his name hasn't been thrown? I understand.
I am, yes, because I feel like he should be having a lot more interest than he is right now. He's one of the best free agents available. Good hitter, good fielder. I don't know. I guess teams don't want to pay what he wants, I'm guessing.
Well, I mean, also the other thing is I could see him. I could see this situation being where he's waiting for, like, he's actually waiting for what's it got for Correa, and he's probably going to wait for Correa to set the market, and then so I think you're going to see a whole lot of people there. Yeah, you're going to see I was going to find something up here, but yeah, there's a whole lot of people uh, signed pretty quickly, and I think once Freeman, Correa, I think once those guys sign, I think you're gonna start to see everyone else because then you gotta figure out, well, because I think those are the main ones. Because when you think about it, whenever Freeman goes, let's say he goes to the Braves, the Dodgers, do they go after Olsen? Do the Yankees go after Olsen? If they don't go after Olsen, do you go after Matt Chapman?
Yep.
We haven't even talked about Pujols. I mean, Pujols apparently whatever 3 teams are going after him: Cardinals, Rockies, and Mariners.
Of course, the Cardinals.
Yeah, so apparently that's gonna be interesting. Nelson Cruz might be nearing a deal pretty soon. So that's so there's a whole lot there. I don't we haven't really seen a lot of news. So let's talk and then I think is there anything else to bring up? And I don't think
Well,
Virginia Tech Athletic.
yeah, you go ahead.
I know. I think the Virginia. I think I forgot. I think Virginia Tech Athletics. Pretty much baseball team lost to Georgia Tech. They are 9-2 or 10-2, I think, right now. I think they actually got the lead back. They were down by 2, I believe. They got the lead back in the top of the ninth, and then they gave up the lead. But they're doing pretty good. Then obviously you got the other sports as well, but
Softball's doing really well. I saw.
yeah, softball's doing really good. And then
They're awesome.
yeah, so next week we're gonna end the show there. Next week we're gonna be talking about uh, NFL free agency, and we'll do another mock draft
Yep.
for the Ravens Steelers based on what we've seen and whatever rumors we hear about our teams. We're gonna do a mock draft and a free agency preview. We're going to recap some of the more bigger moves they made that were made. Then also we're going to be looking at some, of course, MLB free agency, and we're going to be previewing a little bit Orioles Nationals, seeing what we expect. And then
I'm sure there'll be a lot of more free agency moves in both the NFL and the MLB to talk about too.
Oh my God! First of all, let me ask you a question: like, how over under $3.5 billion in total money set?
Over for sure. Taking the over on that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot exciting. I mean, I think that MLB free agency is going to be it's going to be like the NBA free agency, because you're going to start stars come off the board pretty quickly. I mean, I'm surprised that more teams haven't signed players. I mean, I understand like not doing that within like 10 minutes after it's ratified, because like you don't want to make it look like you're tampering, because let's be honest, when they were locked out, teams couldn't talk to players. Do you really buy for 1 second that they didn't have conversations with their agents during the lockout?
I do not buy that at all.
So it was a little surprising to see that. Granted, that more deals have been made. I'm not shocked that it wasn't like, oh, free agency is open for 10 minutes and you start hearing these deals, because they are obviously trying to time it. So it's like, oh, it's not like tampering and all that other stuff. But yeah, so we'll see you next week, probably for a busy show. Like we probably have a busy show for next couple. Couple.
Today was just like a short one, just because we got like all the news pretty quick. But I'm sure next week it's going to be a lot longer.
Yeah, and also it's more speculation at this point with some of these news. Yep. So we'll see you next week around this time. And
we'll
Saturday 3 p.m.
Yep, we'll be back next week.